Unleashed, also known as Danny the Dog in some regions, is an action film. The story follows Danny, a man who has been raised and trained by Bart, a vicious loan shark, to behave like a human attack dog. Danny wears a metal collar that controls him, making him docile when it's on and a violent fighter when it's off. After Bart is injured and presumed dead, Danny escapes and finds refuge with Sam, a blind piano tuner, and his stepdaughter Victoria. Beginning of the movie, Jet Li is the main star. Please be aware that spoilers may be present. Danny is ordered to assault a few individuals at the beginning of the film for an unspecified purpose. We learn about Danny's boss, Bart, a vicious loan shark. He has a very unique and harsh way of collecting money from creditors. To help him get his money, Bart has trained Danny like a dog for his whole life. Danny is usually kept in a cage and fed like a dog when he gets home, but he obeys. His mental capacity is that of a toddler, since he is unable to talk or behave in ways that are not taught to him. At all times, Danny wears a particular dog collar around his neck. When wearing it, he is harmless, but when he takes it off, he turns into a wild, violent dog that murders anybody who annoys his master. He also occupies his time with a first-grade novel. He has a strong desire to study and picks up a few new words. The next day, they still threaten the debtors. A rich businessman who owes Bart a significant amount of money is one of their targets. Because he is aware of the collar trick, he is not like the ordinary folks they interact with. They would drag Bart away before he could take off the collar in order to prevent him from triggering Danny. As Danny watches, uncertain of what to do, they beat him up. After some effort, Brat succeeds in taking off his collar, causing the beast to awaken. A guy nearby observes Danny's incredible fighting abilities as he swiftly engages and defeats the enemies. When Wyeth, the organizer of an underground boxing event, sees Danny, he sees a chance to profit greatly. Bart gets his money and leaves after the debtor has been beaten half to death. Bart is furious because he did not intervene to help him during the beating, even if Danny spared his life. To make sure the previous trick isn't repeated, they make their last visit of the day to an old warehouse. Danny is told by Bart to stay in the warehouse and watch the signal light. He is called to come inside and help Danny and his goons when it turns red. Danny is waiting when he spots a piano in the room's corner. He was captivated by it when he first saw it in the book. Danny is playing the piano when a blind guy enters the room. Sam, a well-known musician, has come to tune the piano. After seeing his excitement for the game, Sam helps stand. Since he has never experienced kindness in his life, Danny is speaking to a foreign audience. Danny doesn't say anything throughout the conversation, but when Sam hears the time ticking away, he seems indifferent. Danny recalls the illumination his teacher provided for him. When Danny rushes to answer, he finds Bart lying on the ground, badly battered. Although they beat the invaders, he and his goons suffered severe injuries in the process. Shortly after Wyeth comes and makes a business proposal to Bart, he rants at Danny, calling him a variety of derogatory names, and kicks him into his cage as they return to their headquarters. Since the subterranean fight is a death match that ends only when a person dies, he wants Danny to face the current champion in the forthcoming battle. The reward money is huge. Bart doesn't waste any time accepting the deal, since he will be very wealthy if Danny is able to overcome the current champion. The next day, Danny is dragged to the ring. After 3 years of competition, the opponent has never lost. Everyone bets on him because they believe in him. Danny kills him in less than a minute after delivering 3 strong blows to his neck at the start of the fight. Wyeth is happy to have found such a gem. He promised to provide more money when they returned for additional bouts, but he hands Bart his share. As they return to the hideout, the gangster is feeling upbeat. He urges Danny to ask for everything he wants. Danny mentions the piano in passing, but Bart doesn't think a dog should have a musical instrument. Shortly after several guys shoot at the automobile repeatedly and ultimately capture the gangster, their car is abruptly hit by a truck. Fortunately, Danny is still alive and his boss has left. The antique is his only choice. He enters the warehouse and is recognized by Sam's footsteps. Danny's gunshot wound causes him to faint. A second later, he awakens on the fluffiest surface he has ever seen and realizes he is in a strange room. As it happens, Sam has been taking care of him since bringing him to his home. Sam is glad to see Danny after he has been absent for 2 days. He is still used to being treated with care, and he feels anxious in this strange setting. When Victoria, Sam's stepdaughter, enters, Danny hides under the bed in fear. Seeing his individuality, she puts a piano under the bed and invites him to play it. Danny has never eaten in front of others, so he quickly goes outside holding the keyboard while the family waits for him to appear for supper. He starts eating it as he always does. Victoria steps in and teaches him the proper way to do it, without ruining Danny's strange antics, which make the family laugh and give him a feeling he has never had before. Later, Danny is startled when Sam attempts to take off his collar. Sam doesn't force him since he won't allow anybody to touch it. The next morning, Sam and Danny send Victoria off at her college, but not before she gives Danny a hesitant peck on the cheek. He was happy to experience a kiss in real life since he had read about it in his first-grade textbook. Sam grins to himself when he realizes this. In order to help him socialize, Sam brings him to a grocery shop and encourages him to talk to the clerk. When he returns home, he tells Danny how he cared for Victoria after the passing of her parents, and Sam shows him some of the culinary items. He is sent to pick up Victoria from college later that day. Anxiously, he meets her, and the two go out for ice cream, which Danny finds enjoyable. At night, Sam confides in Victoria that they must support him since he fears someone may have cut off Danny's emotions. Victoria takes the initiative to teach him the fundamental piano keys. When Danny eventually lets them in, Sam, who is in his bedroom, hears them and grins. He quickly integrates into their life and becomes an essential part of it. The rest of the audience is frightened when several thugs start battling Sam when they are at the grocery store one day, but Danny keeps picking the veggies as if nothing were going on behind him. When Sam subsequently locates him, he questions him about how he managed to stay composed in this circumstance. Danny simply replies that they weren't fighting him, so he wasn't afraid. Sam is curious about Danny's past and asks about it. All Danny knows is that he lived with his deceased uncle, and he feels sorry for him. For the next few weeks, they live as a happy family, spending time together and guiding him through a number of unfamiliar situations, including the night Victoria tries to take off Danny's collar, but he becomes frightened. At last, Danny allows Victoria to take off his collar, and he's okay without it. In the morning, Sam brings him to work fixing a piano, and while he works on it, he informs him that he and Victoria will be going back to New York when she graduates. Danny laments that he will once again be left without a family, but Sam makes it clear that they are also taking him since he is now a part of the family. Since Danny worked with Sam, he receives half of the money after work. He excitedly makes his way to the shop to get presents for everyone. He encounters a guy who used to work for Bart on his way out. Since Danny is his source of income, he discloses that Bart is still alive and is looking for him everywhere. In the scenario that follows, Danny consents to come back because he wants to know who his parents are. Danny asks Bart about his mother when they first meet. In response, Bart says he never bothered to look for his parents and instead discovered Danny by the side of the road. After that, Danny is taken to another death match, where his boss forces him to wear the collar before taking it off, only to find that the trick no longer works. When Danny refuses to kill anyone, he is thrown into the ring with a fierce opponent who attacks him but does not defend himself. More combatants are added to the ring to add interest to the match, but Danny does not fight back despite being brutally attacked. In a short while, Danny's brain clicks, and when a man steps on his hand, he quickly defeats his opponents without killing any of them, which enrages Bart because he would not receive any money. At the end of the day, Danny is thrashed and thrown back into his cage, while Victoria and Sam worry about him but are unsure of where to go. When no one is looking, Danny sneaks out of the cage and finds a bunch of pictures on Bart's workstation. He recognizes a picture of himself sitting with his mother in front of the piano. He attacks Bart, and when he asks him about his mother for the last time, he confesses that she was an adult worker who used to be his escort for several nights. She even took Danny to work and had no regard for boundaries. Shortly after that, Bart fell in love with her, and when she passed away, he took Danny in and made him his family. The following day, when he hears the word family, he swerves the car, causing it to crash, and then runs away. After hearing the news about his mother, his real family is overjoyed to see him, and they feel sorry for him. Victoria explains that the picture is of an auditorium that Sam has visited. In order to find out more about Danny's mother, they go to the theater. The staff says they remember her, but that she disappeared with her kid. They discover a musical note that Danny's mother used to play when he was a kid in the picture's background one day. As Victoria plays his mother's notes, this triggers memories he has repressed over the years. Danny had flashbacks. One day, when she heard Bart entering the house, his mother concealed him and attempted to attack him, striking Bart until he was bleeding. Bart became so enraged that he shot her dead, and when little Danny confronted him after regaining his memory, he was also struck. After seeing Bart's threat, Danny orders Sam and Victoria to get their things and leave the city as quickly as possible. However, before they can leave, Bart and a sizable group of his thugs show up to Sam's apartment complex. Before running away to divert the thugs, Danny places Victoria and Sam in the closet for their protection. Danny confronts the thugs and kills a few of them before they can get to Sam and Victoria. Later on, Bart hires an attacker with a similar skill level as Danny, and Dan is up against this stranger. After a furious altercation, the stranger falls out of the window as Danny rushes to grab him. Bart becomes so enraged by this that he chases after Danny and shoots him, at the very least, to kill him. Danny encounters additional thugs who almost murder him, but he fortunately makes a quick getaway. After firing at random, Bart arrives to Sam's flat, where he discovers Danny has been residing after seeing his collar. Before he sees Sam and Victoria, Danny leaves. Bart attempts to kill him, but it's doubtful that he has any more shots, so he tries to get Danny to work for him once again. Although Danny seems as if he is convinced, he assaults and brutally beats Bart before killing him. Even when Bart incites Danny to kill him, Victoria and Sam leap out of the closet and stop him since they know he is not a killer. After Sam knocks him unconscious, the three of them hug as things settle down. Victoria is playing the piano in the last scene, which Danny and Sam attend. She performs a song that Danny's mother used to play after stating that the performance is dedicated to a beautiful person. The film ends as Danny sheds a tear of joy as he sees her adoration.